You guessed it, we went and got another tractor. I'm gonna go and walk over to it right now. I'll give you guys the lowdown on it. Take a quick walk around, give you all the specs. My brother nicknamed it the Mini Ox because it's just like our big like towing tractor, except it's like a little bit smaller, but it does the job pretty well. So we'll go check it out here. So anyways, this is our 8600 here, and this tractor is actually the reason why we ended up getting this 7600 right now. This tractor, because like we use it for like all of our hauling, pulling our feed wagon stuff, and when you start it up, the PTO just starts running, never stops running. So we need to take it apart and get it running, but we just have it parked on our pump right now, since like, you know, we can still run the PTO because this thing only gets turned on to pump. So we went and picked up this 7600 here. And the reason why we decided to pay for this thing is because my brother did the math, and to like get a tractor out to rent and then take that one apart and wait for all the time that one would take to repair, it would have ended up costing us like $6,000 or $7,000 just to rent a tractor for like a month or two. And we found this one is pretty mint condition. Everything on it's been extremely well kept. Still has like the plastic on the oil filters and everything from the guy that we got it from, but this thing ended up only being $8,000, so it was surprisingly cheap, like extremely cheap for a tractor of its type and of its condition. And I'll give you some more of a walk around here. The guy that we got it from, an old crop farmer, and the only reason he was selling it for so cheap is because he didn't actually want to get rid of it, but he wanted to start downsizing his operation. He bought this thing new from Ford back in '68. He's been the only owner of this tractor, and after buying it new, he only put about 200 hours on it each year. And like I was saying, he didn't want to get rid of it, so he posted it for cheap, hoping that somebody in this area would buy it, because he wanted the tractor to stay like basically in its home where it was bought from. And we were lucky enough to end up finding it as soon as he posted it, and got it for probably about like maybe like a half as much or like a third of what this tractor is actually worth, because this thing is super nice for its vintage. And it's a 4-cylinder diesel, but it's the turbo version, and it has all sorts of nice stuff going on with like everything on it's just super nice. I mean, there's obviously normal wear and tear, but like the seat, all the hydraulics on that still works, so you can move up and down. Nice suspension, all the shifting and everything on it's super smooth. So I'll go ahead and fire it up here for you guys. All right, something that I'm not actually used to is I had to put the tractor in neutral. Most of our tractors, that safety switch has been long worn out, but this one, it still works. Literally everything on this tractor still works. There's not a single thing on it that doesn't work. But anyways, start it up. Like I said, key, give her some throttle. She just purrs. I think if I throttle up some, you might be able to hear the turbo, so give her some. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that guy gave us one heck of a deal. He was a super nice old farmer. You know, we're gonna get a lot of use out of this tractor now. And he said that he drives past our property at least once a week, so he's gonna be able to still see her in action. But you know, he's just like an old crop farmer type guy. He has like, I think, a couple thousand acres, and you know, he's had this tractor forever, but he decided it was finally time to let it see some use on some other property. But yeah, I mean, thanks to him, we now have another hauling tractor, so that's going to be really nice. And here and probably in the next few videos, I'm going to get some hauling done with it. But yeah, super nice deal. We're liking it a lot so far. Shut her down. Yeah, that's our new tractor. So I'm gonna get after some other work here, continue on with the video. Alright, I decided that today, while I bring in the first string to get them up to the parlor to get milked, I'm going to tell you guys a story. And this story could be nicknamed, I feel like an appropriate name for it is Sketchy Gas Station Clerk. And the story's actually about my older brother Jordan that you see working on the farm from time to time, and my older cousin Jace, who is more of a redhead than I am. Like, when I say more of a redhead, I say like extremely pale, straight up orange hair. But anyways, Jordan and Jace, they were out and about. They were actually going over to the east side, and they went over to the east side of Washington to go party with some friends of theirs for the weekend. This story's from years ago, right? This is when Jordan was far younger and far crazier than he is now, settled down with all of his kids. But anyways, they were headed over to the east side, and they went and partied for the weekend, and they were driving back, and it was late at night, and the vehicle that they were driving was Jace's red. It was like an 80s Toyota pickup. It was big, lifted, had a roll cage, had light bars, all that jazz, all tricked out. Jace loved having his trucks tricked out, and Jordan was actually the one driving. And so what they were doing is they came around this corner, and there was a downhill slope. So as they came around the corner, it was downhill, and so it was late at night, and they came around a bunch of trees all around, really dark. They came around the corner, and as they came around, Jordan said that he felt the rear end slide a bit, and he was like, oh no. And what had happened is they'd started to hit this large patch of black ice. And later on in the story, a police officer almost does the same thing that they did, but they hit a large patch of black ice. And since it was downhill and around the corner, Jordan he said he took one last look at Jace, and he was like, I don't think I can save it, man. And Jace was like, try. And he was swerving the wheel side to side, and they came out of the black ice, and they were completely sideways, and the tires caught traction, and the Toyota pickup truck proceeded to roll 8 or 9 times was Jordan's count. He doesn't remember exactly how many, but he said it felt like an eternity of them just end over end over end. He said he was smacking into the steering wheel, you know, Romeo's flying up off the floor, hitting him in the face, colliding with my cousin Jace. And then the truck finally came to a stop at the bottom of the hill, upside down, and they were able to crawl out of it. The windshield was completely busted out. All the windows were broken out, but the cab was still relatively solid because of the fact that it was a truck that had some reinforcements done to it. And so the people that eventually somebody drove by, and they helped them, like, you know, they called the 911 and stuff, and fire department showed up, and police showed up, and when they were showing up, sheriff actually showed up, came around the corner, and literally started sliding and almost went into the ditch, or went halfway in the ditch, and then pulled himself back out in the exact same spot that they did. So like the spot was super sketchy. There was nothing that they could have done to do it. And they helped them. They hooked up a winch, pulled the truck back up on its wheels. And you might think like, man, that sucks. But what sucks the most about it is they weren't even over the pass yet, and they had no windshield, and it was snowing on the pass. So they had to go a whole nother 60 miles with no windshield and getting snowed on. But at the time when the truck got flipped back over, it hadn't started snowing yet. You know, this was back so many years ago now. This was before people, you know, Google Maps and like apps on your phone. Like, this wasn't a thing yet. You know, this is when my older brother was younger, when he was like, I think they were early 20s, maybe late teenagers at the time. But so they were driving, and Jordan said maybe 5 or 6 minutes after they started driving the truck, you know, no windshield. So it was already super cold. They're being super cold. They didn't have quite as much clothes they want. They didn't have any gloves either. So they were taking turns driving, and it started just dumping snow on them. And so they were making their way towards the pass. And this is where the sketchy gas station comes into play. So they make their way to the foothills of the mountain, and they were getting ready to go up over, and they stopped and they pulled off at this little sketchy gas station. They said it had some flickering lights, but they were just hoping to go in and get some of those hand warmers so they could try and keep their hands warm, maybe find some gloves, just something to keep them warm on the way over the pass, because they were like literally freezing to death. And so like they went in there and they were ordering, they paid for like some hot food, they got hand warmers, they got some little teensy gloves from the gas station, nothing too crazy. And the guy that was working the gas station, now when we look back at it, he might have had good intentions, but Jordan said the dude just gave him a super weird vibe. And from like the moment they walked in there, the guy was like, oh, hey, how are you boys doing? And they're like, oh man, we're just really cold. We're trying to warm up. You know, we just need some stuff to keep us warm, some gloves if you have any. And we were talking to the guy, and as soon as they walked in the store, the guy was like, well, you know,
I got a shower in the back if you boys want to take a shower and warm up. And Jordan was like, no, we're good, man. And the guy kept on insisting about, like the whole time that they were in the store, insisting about the shower and taking their clothes off. And I was like, oh no, you boys can just, you know, you take your clothes off, take a shower, warm up real good. And my cousin Jace, being Jace, he was like, oh yeah, for sure. And Jordan was like, no. He's like, hell no. He's like, no, I'm not doing it, Jace. I had to tell the guy no like 10 different times. He's like, are you sure? And Jordan was like, no way. And Jace was like, oh, come on, man, I am pretty cold. And Jordan was like, no. He's like, we're leaving right now. So they left, and Jordan was like, Jace, what the hell are you thinking, man? He's like, that's how you get murdered by some sketchy dude on a mountain road. You know, you just go back in there, take your clothes off. That's how you get, like, Sideshow Bobbed or whatever, get put in a pit and told to rub lotion on your skin. But they ended up making it back over the pass and making it home, obviously, because Jordan's still alive today. But he said that was definitely one of the most sketchy times in his life, was having to go up over that pass with no windshield, being that cold, and so not even like surviving all the rollover and all that, making it over the pass, just the sketchy gas station guy that he said he was just giving him a bad vibe the whole time. But yeah, that's one of the funnier stories that I have in my arsenal of stories. I just thought you guys would enjoy that one. But let's get these gates closed back up here and get on with some farming. Get this one chained up. And we'll get this one swung here. There we go. Come on, girl. Hey, don't make me run that fence in there. Come on. Scoot up, scoot up, scoot up. All right. There we go. All the cows are now in the holding pen. Get this chained right here. Okay, and now I'm gonna go and feed some calves, and then, oh yeah, no, never mind. I have to scrape over there with the scraper tractor, obviously. I always forget about that. Yeah, get them scraping done, and then we'll feed some calves. All right, I'm up at the calf barn now, and I'm just gonna get some buckets of grain from our grain bin and feed it out to some of our middle-aged calves, or yeah, like they're older calves, obviously. They just eat hay and grain and water, but I'm gonna get these filled up and then we'll get those fed and then we'll keep it moving. Well, I got caught up jamming to my music and like got in the mode where I was just like, gotta keep farming, and I completely forgot to record anything else that I did today. But I just scraped out the second. I already fed all the calves, so yeah, I don't got anything else to do. If you've made it this far, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed yet, or like the video, whatever floats your boat. In the next video, I'm probably going to be hauling a bunch of manure using that 7600 in one of our smaller spreaders. So that'll be really cool. I think it'll be the first time I've done a video on hauling in I don't even know how long. Most of you guys probably weren't even subscribing to me back then, because back then I used to upload to 0 viewers. But anyways, I will catch you guys probably on Thursday with the next video coming up. This video is going to go up on Tuesday. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching once again, and peace out.